Welcome back, Better Agents. Nicholas Ayers coming to you live from Better Agency HQ. And in today's video, we're talking about how to handle an economic recession as an insurance agent. Now, before we get into the video, let's do all the YouTube things. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video, and humor me just a little bit. Comment down below, tell me the name of your agency and where you're watching from. Now, the whole purpose of this video isn't to scare you or to have a sky is falling doom and gloom message, but it is to recognize the reality that the economy today is not what it was in years past. And I do think it's important that we talk about how that's going to impact you, your agency, and your customers. In preparation for this video, it took me down memory lane because I had started selling insurance in the year 2005. And so by the time the Great Recession of 07 and 08 had come around, I was just a young producer. I remember back in those days, I was selling insurance to anybody that would answer the phone or respond to an email. I didn't have this large book of business or this referral network that I can tap into. I was just hungry and energetic and just going after it. And I remember back in those days, people were scared. People were talking about the recession everywhere you went. You'd go into a grocery store and it felt like a ghost town because nobody wanted to spend money. People had no food, they had no jobs.
Our pets' heads are falling off!
It was a legitimate concern to everybody. And I just remember people being very just scared. And I remember back in those times, it not having much of an impact on me. I was still writing business. Luckily, I was in an industry that's somewhat recession-proof. People still have to legally have insurance. Now, I had to have conversations that I didn't really want to have, and I had to do some things I didn't really want to do, namely reshopping more customers or talking about price, but I was still growing a book of business. And my encouragement to anybody watching this video is to take comfort in the fact that you still sell insurance. You're in an industry that people still have to have the thing that you sell. So while you might have to deal with some things externally around you, take comfort, take solace in the fact that you're in a business that can still grow. One encouragement I would have for you is to lean into the conversation that your customers are having. You better believe they're talking about price. You better believe that they're looking at their budget, they're seeing inflation, they're trying to figure out a way to save a few bucks here and there. And I think there's this attitude amongst insurance agents that says, we don't talk about price. We're not gonna commoditize ourselves. This is not just something you can buy off the shelf. And I think that way of thinking, it works. It's great in economic good times, but you have to understand the reality that your customers are feeling the pinch. A lot of them are worried about how they're gonna put food on the table. And it's okay to lean into the idea that you're gonna help your customers save money, that you're not just trying to attract every price shopper, but you're gonna help people. You're gonna serve your customer base. There's nothing wrong with this attitude. I'm not telling you that you need to devalue yourself or that you need to completely commoditize what you do, but it's okay to lean into the conversation that you're an independent insurance agent. And yes, you can help your customers find another great product that might save them $5, $10, $15, $20 a month in their expenses. That's perfectly acceptable. It doesn't have to be this big angry thing where we just say we're not gonna ever talk about price. You can talk about price. Now, for the agent that says we're not ever gonna mention price, my other encouragement to you and to anybody really watching this video is now is the time to really refine and make your USP, your unique selling proposition, bulletproof. You need to do message testing. You need to put messages on your website or in your emails, and you need to see if it's resonating with your customers. There's a few things that you can do. You can install a product called Hotjar on your website, which is going to show you how people are engaging on your website. And one of the things that you can do is to put headlines out there and see if your unique value proposition is something that makes people want to scroll. You can see the behavior that people are doing. If people are just going to your website and bouncing off, you can tell right then and there that you have a unique value proposition or messaging that's not resonating with people. It's not clear enough. It's not attractive enough. But if they scroll down your website, that's a great indicator. Another thing you should be doing is asking your customers. Ask them if this is something that makes sense to them, if it's something that they value, that they would find, something that they like. I think it's okay to ask your customers and see if it's just something that is full of jargon or makes sense to you, but not to them. Make it clear, make it attractive. Dial in that value proposition. If you're saying we're not talking about price, we're just gonna keep going on with what we're going on, then make sure that what you have is good enough to resonate with customers in economic downtimes. Another thing agents need to do is they need to get active in the renewal process. Years ago, it was impossible. If you had a book of business that was 10, 15, 20 years old, you couldn't communicate with everybody. People were gonna fall through the cracks. It was just too large. You couldn't do it at scale. But with marketing automation today, with CRMs today, with technology, there's no excuse. You need to have a renewal process that communicates with every single customer before they get the renewal packet in the mail. Your best customers, they're gonna leave you during economic downtimes if you don't communicate with them, if you don't reach out to them, if you don't show and display your value enough to them. There's no relationship. Why would they stay with you? So make sure you have a renewal process that's in place. A really cool tactic that you can do is you can set up automation that sends out care packages to everybody before they come up for renewal. I talked about this at length in our Better Agency user group, where you can set up automation via automate.io so that anytime somebody hits a certain stage in your renewal pipeline, it sends them a gift from Amazon. It's all automatic. You don't need to do anything. Automate.io costs $29 a month, and you can send anything from Amazon. So we sent 9-volt batteries to every homeowner with a little note that just says, hey, we know how annoying that chirping can be. Let's save you a trip to the store. Here you go. Here's some 9-volt batteries. That's a cool little touch point, and you want to do that prior to them ever getting anything in the mail from their carrier. You can automate sending all these things. It's worth $10 to save a customer. It's worth $5. It's probably worth $15 depending on the type of clients you deal with. And if you can increase your retention by 1 extra point or 2 extra points, this is where you make your money. So make sure you have a renewal process that's providing some level of communication, education. It's addressing the concerns that they already have, but it's also showing, hey, you want to stick with our agency. One of the things I would encourage every agent to do is to create a referral program or an incentive program in their agency for new business. Energize your customer base and encourage them to bring in new opportunities to the agency, because you better believe your customers are talking to other people about the economy. They're talking to coworkers, they're talking to neighbors, they're talking to family. They're concerned. They're trying to find a few extra bucks. So put yourself in the middle of that conversation when and where it's appropriate, and use incentives to drive that business to you. Look at what it costs to create a new client in your agency. So if you're generating leads or if you're buying leads, whatever the case may be, let's say that costs us $30 and you close those leads at 25%, then that means before you pay any commissions on any policies, that the cost to acquire a customer is about $120 per customer. So create incentives for $100 and use automate.io to send out those incentives anytime somebody sends you referral business. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video, and comment down below. Let me know what you're doing in times of economic downturn, and we'll see you again on the next video.